Doubt is the origin of wisdom. René Descartes. 7 reasons why doubt is the origin of wisdom. Number 1. Doubt transforms answers into questions. The right question is always more important than the right answer. Why? Because there is a higher probability of getting lost in an answer. Conversely, there is a higher probability of discovering something beyond the answer by questioning it. Answers are more likely to become golden idols, whereas questions are more likely to melt those golden idols into something more malleable and adaptable. Accepting answers without questioning them is a problem of certainty. You might think that you want to be certain, but certainty is almost always a hang-up. The cure for certainty is curiosity. Don't believe what you think. Be curious about why you think it instead. Number 2. Doubt teaches you how to recondition cultural conditioning. Asking difficult questions and challenging culture will always be more important than receiving simple answers and accepting culture. Doubt makes you vulnerable, open, and honest with being a fallible creature. It forces you to confront the raw reality that we're all just imperfect mammals vainly attempting to pigeonhole infinity into finitude. Employ your mind as a mirror. Receive but do not keep. Absorb but do not cling. Learn but do not dwell. Question but remember to never settle on an answer, even if the answer seems convincing, and especially if it is presented by culture as something you must believe in. Number 3. Doubt plants mind-opening seeds in the hard ground of blind belief. Doubt teaches you how to, as Aristotle advised, entertain a thought without accepting it. Belief is the epitome of accepting a thought without entertaining it. Whether due to cultural conditioning, religious indoctrination, or political programming, belief leads to willful ignorance, and the only remedy for willful ignorance is doubt. The willful ignorance inherent in belief is the bane of any truth quest. Doubt reprograms the truth quest, and once the truth quest is reprogrammed, you are liberated. Doubt keeps all things in perspective, and especially this. Always keep the truth quest ahead of the truth. Number 4. Doubt expands the self. Doubt teaches clarity through iteration. The self is an endless ocean. The more you know yourself, the more you realize how much you don't know. But clarity comes from this. The waters are still deep, but you gain better visibility. You realize that self-knowledge is not about coming to an identity or forming an opinion or coming to a conclusion or even ending up with a belief. It's about swimming into deeper clarity. You swim through identity, through opinion, through belief. You do so because the alternative is becoming stuck, fixed, conditioned, trapped, or even brainwashed. Doubt teaches you how to iterate through the self like a snake sheds its skin, always moving forward, always adapting, always overcoming. Number 5. Doubt keeps you ahead of the curve. Doubt teaches uncertainty, and uncertainty teaches aplomb. Aplomb drops a bomb in the bomb shelter of your certainty. It sees the way out of the trap of certainty from the inside out. Acting with aplomb is being proactive despite self-doubt. It's honoring doubt, detaching from it, and then focusing on what makes you come alive. Acting with aplomb takes nerve, nonchalance, and self-confidence. Stepping into the unknown can be harrowing. Self-doubt is a given. Acting with aplomb is simply accepting it as a gift that gives you the power to consistently flatten the box, turn the tables, flip the script, and push the envelope of certainty that threatens to envelop you in one-dimensional thinking. Number 6. Doubt transforms hubris into humor. There is nothing more powerful than a good sense of humor, not even power itself. When you're in the throes of good humor, you are in tune with higher frequencies. You're a fountainhead tapped into the higher order of disordered order. You're a herald of hope in a field of despair. You're a beacon of darkness in the blinding light of cultural conditioning. You're a devil-may-care cosmonaut in the whirlwind slipping all knots. Transform hubris into humor. A good sense of humor puts seriousness and pettiness in perspective. It keeps humor ahead of hubris, laughter ahead of longing, and amor fati ahead of fate. More importantly, it puts the ego on a leash. Number 7. Doubt teaches you the power of the middle way. The middle way is where absolute vulnerability comes to fruition. The middle way is the sword of truth splitting all truths. The middle way is the scythe of justice breaking all crowns. While walking the path of the middle way, you learn how to cut with your soul. You learn how to meet the danger on the road to adventure, how to greet glory in the field, how to confront the albatross on the path, how to encounter the minotaur in the labyrinth. You learn how to cut the obstacle until it becomes the path. And if God himself should stand in your way, cut that bastard down and become one with all things.